Gents, is the bull market over, or are we going to see all-time highs again? Let's get into the charts. Welcome back to Max Trades Crypto. Today we're going to be going over some daily scenarios just to put things back into perspective. Also, do subscribe to the YouTube channel down below and like the video. You can join the Discord as well to get more daily updates. But on our first scenario, right, where we have the bearish scenario. This is the most bearish scenario at the moment, where I see prices going back down to around that $20,000 level, right? At the moment, we are seeing a big influx of bearish news, bearish price action, whatever it is. This, in my opinion, right, if I were to actually just go to the 4-hour time frame, this candle, in my opinion, the biggest liquidation in crypto's history, is indeed the most manipulated move I've ever seen in the market, right? This was a joke of amount of insider trading, just ridiculous level here, where Trump decided, okay, he's going to put tariffs at 100% for China. He's going to probably change that in the near future, right? This is just a joke amount of insider trading, and they wanted to crash this market so that they could possibly get more rate cuts, right? That was their goal. Very stupid, very destructive for the market. And as you see, many people are now in a dire straits of their finances due to this move, right? So let's just put this move in a bit of perspective. So if we go to the daily time frame, we can see here that this would be the most bearish scenario, where we have, instead of this being an impulsive structure, we have a larger wave B, right? If I were to do some education quickly, we can see here that this is a flat structure, or an expanded flat structure, where we have a wave A down, a B taking the high of wave A, and a wave C, this being an A, B, and a C. Inside an A, we have a 3-wave structure, inside a B, a 3-wave structure, and in the C, a 5-wave structure, right? That is what we're currently looking at on the chart right now, where we have a 3-wave in A wave, A, B, and a wave C. And then we have a WXY in wave B, a W, an X, and a wave Y, finishing at the 1.38, right? This 1.38 is 138% of the length of wave A. Then after this, we should see 5 waves down. We should be seeing here from maybe this high now here, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, and then a bigger 3 waves down. This is what we would be looking for in the wave C, right? But this, in my opinion, is not as likely as some of the bullish scenarios on the chart. Some of the bullish scenarios on the chart, we're going to go over 2 types of scenario. Either that we are in a wave 4, right? This is now another degree of wave 4 here, where we have this being a wave 4 range followed by that wave 5, or we are in a form of a diagonal, right? A diagonal being that we have possibly a move something along the lines of this. So starting with the wave 4 scenarios, here we have a scenario where we have a 5-wave structure up in yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4, and wave 5, and we are still waiting for this wave 4. Common targets for this wave 4 are $66,700 to $97,700, right? This would be a move that is quite a range compared, as this wave 2 was very long. This wave 2, let's actually just pull up the time-based fib. So we're looking for something along the lines of this size in price action. At the moment, we are about 2 or 3, 4 weeks actually from this line, but we are still looking for a wave 4 that is longer than the wave 2. Followed by that, we should get that wave 5 move. Then the other wave 4 scenario on the chart is that we have a wave 4 in this section here where it's a multi 1 2. So instead of a 1 2 3 4 5, we have a 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, and now we're looking for another 4 5. This original 1 2 would be a lot smaller, and therefore the wave 4 can end actually any time from now. Problem is we have not got yet into these wave 4 targets. In a bullish market, right, we do often see that wave 4s don't hit their minimum price target as these moves are heavily extended, right? And we do often just see a range. For the price to move now to $95,000, already crashing down from $120,000 to $100,000, that would be quite a move, right? And that's not even hitting the minimum target of 0.236. Then, if we look at my most popular scenarios at the moment are the diagonals. So this is the first one where we have, again, a 5-wave structure, 3 4, but in the last wave 5 we have a 1 2 3 4, and looking for a diagonal ending in wave 5. How a diagonal works is we have a move, a 1 2 3 4, and wave 5 where we have converging trendline channels. Right? This is how a diagonal often looks, and inside the diagonal we have 3-wave structures, right, instead of 5-wave structures. So if we look at the chart now on the daily time frame, we can see here that we are possibly creating a diagonal formation like that, right, with this big crash being the wave 2. The only issue here that we see is on the 4-hourly time frame. To count this move as a 3-wave structure is quite difficult, where we have possibly a wave A, B, and then a wave C in this. Very, very difficult, as this looks very 3-wavy. This does not look like a 1 2 3 4 5 in my opinion, but we shall see what the chart presents to us. Oftentimes the diagonals are very, very weird and complex, right? So this is a possible scenario. Then for our last diagonal on the chart, we have this one here, where we have, let me go back to the daily time frame, where we have a larger diagonal, but the move is already almost over, and we are only looking for one more push towards the upside, where we have a 1 2 3 4, and now a diagonal in 1 2 3 4, and a wave 5. Last little push, this last crash being the wave 4, and we are now heading higher, right? These are the main scenarios at the moment. But so to put this all in a bit of perspective, we are not yet looking at scenarios where we are just heading towards that bear market, right? It doesn't make sense at the moment. At the moment, things are still very, very bullish, right? At the moment, people can say, oh, we're going down and going down. That doesn't happen when we are in a top, right? When we have and form a top, oftentimes the news is incredibly, incredibly bullish, to the point where you cannot say anything bearish without getting backlash, right? At the moment, people see this and go, oh, okay, we're going to now all-time lows, right? All-time, taking the low at 14,000, and people agree, right? That is not the signals of a top. Not at all. Right? So oftentimes in tops, we form a move, and now people literally cannot be bearish. It's almost impossible, right? So if we do see that 140, 150, maybe an extended wave 5, $160,000 Bitcoin, that would be the area where we are now seeing people say the moon and only the moon is up and up and up for Bitcoin. But that is often when a top does form. So that just puts a bit of perspective in for you guys. We are not heading lower, in my opinion, just yet. I think we are still in a bullish market, and at the moment things are just at a bit of a discount. If you can see, ETH is sitting at 3,800, Sol at 190, XRP at 2.4, all a bit of a discount, right? So that is what I currently see at the moment. Now, before I end the video, I just want to show you guys some daily trend lines, right? at the moment we are looking at these trend lines on the daily time frame, where this crash actually just touched our trend line that we created here ages ago on the chart, right? Ages ago we were looking for a move down to this trend line, and actually still looking for a move down to this trend line is still very, very possible if we get a more of a corrective structure and we form here an A, B, and a C, touching this move at around that 190 or not 190, $96,000, and then moving up from there would be an insane move from off this trend line and kind of touch our last area of support on the trend line basis. And if we are breaking from this trend line, then obviously the likelihood we are going down is higher, right? But at the moment, this would be very, very interesting, a touch of the bottom trend line over here. So do indeed keep an eye for that. And we have still held this trend line very, very nicely, right? At the moment, we are still looking at, if we zoom in a bit, we looked at this trend line here, and we actually are holding not on the close, or on the close of the candle, not on the wick. So we are still holding this trend line over here, and we still have this one going higher and higher. If we break from this one higher, the likelihood we are going to be breaking out a lot more is greater, right? But this trend line at the moment is still holding. If we do indeed break from this trend line and head lower, the likelihood that we touch this lower based one is higher. But guys, thank you so much for watching the video today. We are going to be waiting for more info on the chart. At the moment, if you look at the 4-hour time frame, this massive candle kind of messes with a lot of scenarios. So waiting out and playing it very, very safe in this region over here is a very safe idea. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Do join the Discord if you'd like to get daily updates. It's been Max Trades Crypto. Cheers, guys.